Okay, we're recording. Happy Sunday, everybody. It is September 17th. Somehow, I feel like I could say that every week. Like, how does this happen? But seriously, oh my gosh. Things are going to start getting crazy again. We always feel like, oh, summer's so busy, but so is fall. I mean, so is every season, right? But the holidays are kicking off, and things are just going to pick up as school picks up. I know people in our team are moms and parents and teachers. So just things are going to start, school and sports and everything with children. And if you're not a parent, things just change too. Anyways, okay. So Camille is our guest speaker today. Camille has been a coach for 2.5 years. She's a lifetime diamond coach. And when I asked her, hey, how long have you been a coach for? And she gave me like her little credentials as far as coaching goes. And she even pointed out to say, I'm a lifetime diamond, but I'm emerald right now, which is so cool that she's always transparent. And that's just the reality of ranks as a coach. So I thought that was cool that she said that. But so she's a lifetime diamond, an emerald right now. She went to one summit in Nashville a couple years ago. And she has a lot on her plate otherwise too. She's a stepmom. She runs that you'll hear about other groups, a coach. She has another business, What's Cooking Mankato. She's part of like a blog team. She's got her plate full. So I'm really excited to hear from her. She does things a lot differently than we're really been taught in the Beachbody world. She's taken on Pinterest, she's taken on a blog and a website and other avenues, which to me is really intriguing. So anyways, I'm just going to let you take it away. It sounds like she's got some stuff prepared for us. She's going to go over some different free groups that she has run or does run, and then she's going to leave it open for questions. So think of any questions if you have them. You can always ask them, of course, but now is the time that this is on our minds, and she's right in front of us. So go for it, Camille. Let me know if you need anything.
Okay, well, I'm first going to say I hope my internet holds up. We got rid of actual internet at the beginning of the summer because it was costing us too much money. So we just have our phones and our Verizon plan. So if it kicks me off, I will try my best to get back on. Otherwise, I will hop in the team page when I can tonight or tomorrow if something does happen. So just to put that out there. Thank you, Shayla, for all the props and comments. I have been a coach since November of 14, almost 3 years, which is crazy. There's definitely been ups and downs. I've made a lot more money than I'm making now as a coach at some times. I've got to go on 2 Success Club trips, which my husband and I used as our honeymoons, one right before we got married and then one shortly after we got married, or right before our year anniversary. So that was fun, and that was all a benefit of Beachbody. We definitely wouldn't have gone on a honeymoon if I didn't have the opportunity to work it off. But like Shayla said, I haven't always done what has been taught of us. I went to school for psychology. I tried out 3 different types of jobs a year after graduating and was miserable. I didn't find one that I loved. My anxiety got significantly worse after college, which may seem backwards, but that's what happened. And I was diagnosed with depression, which I had never had a label of before. And so it took me a very long time to transition out of the school mindset into the real world, because I had been in school, not for so long, but you're in that mindset of 12 years of grade school, high school, and then I went to college right away and finished in 3.5 years and went straight into the real world. With my parents helped as much as they could, but I took on a lot of debt in the process of going to school. And right before graduation is when I had originally started talking with the upline that I had. And she had also gone to school for psychology. We had known each other from when we were kids, and we had completely different personalities, got along with certain things and didn't get along with other things. And that is where I kind of went out on my own and did what worked for me and didn't cause me more anxiety and didn't make me feel icky on the inside. I'm very quiet and was way more quiet when I first started coaching. And so sending 30 invites a day was more stressful and anxious to me than anything else. And I knew I couldn't do that forever to make this business work. So I found ways that helped me work better, which was free groups. As you saw, Beachbody kind of caught on to that as we are going to have Clean Week in our back pockets now here in October. The sneak peek is actually on the 19th, so Tuesday, I think, which is super exciting. But before we had all of that, I was one that would run at least one 5 to 7 day free group a month. Yes, I'd repurpose some of the information, but most of the time I was curating content for those through Pinterest. Like I was finding, so fall we would do crock pot ones, or all fall recipes, or we've done like Fitbit or tracker challenges where they have to share literally a screenshot of their screen every single day to get their points. We've done holiday ones. I know I did one that was a holiday drink because drinking's part of the holiday season for most people that are of age when it comes to family get-togethers. So we did one that was 7 days worth of 1 or 2 drinks a day that were cleaner for you than you maybe would have been drinking before. What else have we done? I'm trying to think of all the crazy things we've done. I've done grocery shopping on a budget where those people will share the range of like how much they typically spend and how many people they feed. And then we would brainstorm where we would suggest they go shopping, what types of food they should get for that money and how much, which I love to do. So that one was super fun for me. What else? The typical clean eating one, but we're going to have Clean Week now. So why create the wheel if it's going to be there for you? What else we've done? I've tried really hard to do business ones because I do have a lot of business friends that either own their own businesses or are in big corporations where I live. But it hasn't taken off. I haven't gotten the format of that one down quite yet. So if anybody has worked with corporate people or has ideas, I would love to hear them. But all of those, like me curating content every single month, snowballed into creating communities on Facebook now. So Facebook has done some amazing things these last 6-12 months with their Facebook groups that have made it way better for people that are trying to build communities. I got my website, I started my blog, so I had people going there, but I wanted them to feel somewhere where they were included instead of always having to just check my website, because let's be honest, most people don't bookmark websites anymore when they follow it somewhere from Pinterest or follow it somewhere from Facebook. Like it's just not what people do anymore, like when the internet first came out. And so my heart and soul, I love Aldi. Like that's how Alan and I can eat the way that we eat. And so one day I created a freemium and put it on my website and had 75 people download it in one day. And I was like, oh, well now what do I do with these people? I don't actually know most of these people. And so I decided about a week later that I was just going to create a free Aldi tips, tricks, and recipes community. And so anybody that has downloaded that freemium gets an email saying, hey, if you really liked this, why don't you join our Facebook group? We'd love to stay connected with you. And so that started getting the ball rolling on that group. About 2 months ago, we went from a little over 100 people to this weekend we are at 346 as of right now. So I have 346 people in this one community that I run that are all bonded together because we like Aldi. Has nothing to do with Beachbody, has nothing to do with I mean, it literally just is because that's where I grocery shop. I've fallen in love with it, and I love budgeting and grocery shopping. So it put the three things that I'm passionate about and it doesn't feel like work into one spot to surround myself with people that were also interested. I maybe do one sales post in there every couple weeks, and I just started doing that 2 months ago. Before, I didn't say anything about Beachbody. I pull stuff off of Pinterest, other people's blogs. I pull straight from the Aldi website, and I share what's in that weekly ad. And then before our Aldi and Mankato closed for remodeling, I was reviewing one of their products on my blog a week. So I have like 4 different themes, and I do try and post 7 days a week in that group. But the best one great thing is I now have analytics for this because Facebook put out analytics for groups recently. Not all past groups have it. They were very selective. I don't know how they selected it, but some of my bigger old groups have analytics, and most of my newer groups have analytics. So I don't know what the criteria is. It's Facebook. They don't really tell you most of the time. But most groups now have analytics. You can now tag or link your like page to groups. So it can show up, a lot of my posts now show up as positivity platform with my name after it because that's what my like page is. And then you get analytics on that in your analytics on your like page. So you're going to be able to see how many people in that group are actually seeing it. And then you also have a spot in groups now that say recommended by admins, and you can add any other groups that you run or are in that you suggest to other people. So I also have a positivity platform community, which is my team name and my whole brand. So in there, I share when I work out. I share stuff from the Beachbody blog. I share upcoming accountability groups that I have. That is more where I share my business stuff. So I now have that one linked to my like page as well. I have my other ones that I run recommended at the top of that one. And that one is at a little over 200 people right now, but I'm okay with that. I would rather have people that are interested in the content I'm putting out there and be able to get to know them, instead of having a group that's 1,000 people where I really don't know anybody. So I post more in that community than I do on my personal page and my like page now, because I will post on my personal or like page, hey, do you want the recipe for this with a picture or live video or something, and then give them the link to this group, because I want people that are interested in this group in here instead of only maybe seeing 1 out of 7 posts that I post on my personal page, because we all know if we don't engage with people on Facebook, they don't see our stuff, and I don't have time to engage with over 2,000 friends, and I don't care to engage with over 2,000 of my friends. So with 200, I know who's in it. I know when people, and one thing that's different than a lot of people, I have it set up so I have to approve every post that gets posted in these groups, and I have to approve every friend request that gets requested, because I hate being added to groups that I did not add myself to. So the nice thing is when you have to approve it, you can see if they added theirself, or it'll say added by so-and-so, and then you can reach out to that person before you officially accept the friend request or the request to the group if they didn't add themselves. That's just my rule, because I delete myself from probably 10 groups a week, and it drives me bonkers. So I do that. My What's Cooking Mankato group, which is my side business here in town, went from 0 members in May to 710 members as of today. So that one, because it's local and it's a service/good that they can buy has skyrocketed. I've noticed when I post, hey, order from me in our local groups with like my order link for this service because it's local, I don't get a lot of traffic. It's when I post a review or a picture of one of our meals or the serving sizes plus a link to our Facebook community, I average 10 to 25 new requests to that group a night when I post. So that I've noticed has been way more successful. Originally, when I started my positivity platform community, I put it on my like page, I put it on my personal page, and then my master list that everyone hopefully has, because that is very important. I went through that and sent everybody a personal message with the link to the group in it so that they had the choice to add themselves. And that's mostly how I got my group, that specific group, to 200 people, was actually reaching out to people. And then any emails I send or anything like that always has the group link in it. So if people are intrigued or interested by that one specific thing they saw, they can add themselves. I think the biggest thing is find something that you're passionate about and that doesn't feel like work. I share about being a stepmom in there. It doesn't relate to everybody, but it is part of who I am and where my journey is. But if you're a mom, if you're a fur mom, if you like to cook or clean or do makeup or do hair, like whatever makes you you, that's what you should be sharing in your communities. Just because I have a successful Aldi one and What's Cooking Mankato one doesn't mean that Shayla's gonna have a good Aldi one in Seattle. Like, I don't even know if they have them really out there yet. But I know she has her grocery store, and I don't know much about hers because we don't have a lot of those in the Midwest. So it's literally just finding what is you. And I know you guys hear that a lot. Always find your niche. Do what's you. Don't copy other people. But you really have to sit down. And I think my call to action at the end of this is going to be sit down and write 5 to 10 things that make you you. Whether you love them or you hate them, they make you you. And if they make you you, somebody else is going to be able to relate. Every anxiety or depression post that I post, normally I've been sitting on it all day long, and I've had 2 or 3 people pep me up enough to post it. And then I like freak out and try and get busy so I don't have to look at my phone because it drives me nuts. But it's part of what makes me me, and it makes me relatable. And so I think just finding what makes you you. You don't need to run a free group every month, especially with Clean Week coming out. But themes seem to be what my challengers like best. I just am wrapping up my mindset and accountability, or mindset and routine theme that we've had the last 4 months to move into. We're doing fall back into fitness, but it's going to be more crock pot recipes. It's going to be things to go do outside in the fall. And so if you have a theme, you can kind of narrow in what you're posting. And I think that's what's helped me the most is I'm not throwing spaghetti at the wall in all of these groups. I know what goes in these groups. I know how often I want to post. Facebook is nice enough in the ones that have analytics to also allow you to schedule posts in there. But I also use Buffer still. Yeah, that was kind of my rant about that. I'm sure I sparked a lot of questions if people want to ask away.
I wrote down a bunch of questions, but I'll let anyone else first. Do any of you guys have any questions? Actually, I'll just start asking. I have a bunch. And then if anyone else does, either unmute yourself and you can just butt in, cut me off, or you can type it in the chat. We have a chat option. That was like the most Wisconsin thing ever. Chat option on Zoom. So anyways, Okay, you kind of talked about how you find people for your community. For your Aldi group, is it just your freemium?
So my Aldi group, I have 2 freemiums circulating out in the Pinterest world, and Pinterest doesn't just disappear like Facebook typically. A lot of pins don't hit till 3 to 4 months after you post them. So I will get a few here and there from that. I try really hard to like go in and search things that are going on in the Aldi world. So I comment, like BuzzFeed did an article not too long ago, so I commented on that with a link to it. Our Mankato Moms group, our Aldi's been closed for over a month because of remodeling. And so like everyone that typically shops there is like going crazy, Alan and myself included. So the moms group has been blowing up lately about Aldi and when are they going to open and all these questions. And so I put a link into that this week and got like 25 moms that are local that joined. So it's just being mindful, doing searches. Like last night I was looking on Instagram just to see what some of the Aldi hashtags were, since I'm really pushing myself to do 2 blog reviews a week after they open, because with the seasonal stuff they swap their stuff out every season. So like they're just gonna start getting their fall and winter stuff in, and so I can review all of that for people. So that'll have, all my blogs will have a link at the bottom of that. If people stumble upon my blogs, when I post on Facebook, anytime like, oh, I'm reviewing this today, I'll have a link, because I'm going to try my best not to actually post my blogs on my personal page and only keep them in the group so people have to transfer over. Otherwise, yeah, just monitoring whatever the group has to do with. Positivity platform's a little bit harder. That one, if people are posting about wanting to get healthy or they're doing it on their own, I really push for those people, because then they're getting trickles of what I'm doing at the gym. Because if you guys haven't noticed, most of you guys don't follow me, but I've been making myself go to the gym with Alan before he goes to work, because otherwise I won't work. Like, I just won't do it anymore. Like, I'm not motivated to do it at home right now. So they get posts like, oh, she's actually at the gym but streaming her workouts. I'll post if I switch up my shake recipe in there. So they're getting tidbits here and there of Beachbody, but it's not Beachbody 3 posts a day, 7 days a week.
That's super cool. My favorite part, as I don't know what my similar to Aldi group would be, I was immediately drawn to making like my version of your positivity platform community. That is so awesome. So you mentioned that you just started doing it, so maybe you don't have a solid answer yet, but you said you do post like a little call to action, a business post in your community groups. What does that look like, that call to action post?
They change. So after Shift Shop, when Kelsey Tiltram got awesome results, and when Heaven got awesome results, when Megan got awesome results, I follow those coaches that I still absolutely love to death on a daily basis. Like, because I want to make sure I'm still liking and engaging on their stuff for them. So a lot of the time, if I'm not having a good week or a good month, or this summer was awful because we were never home, I'll pull from other coaches and say, oh my gosh, I have to give so-and-so a shout out. Look how awesome they did. This is what they accomplished with whatever in this type of environment. Or I will do my own results when I have them. But like I said, we get Axton for 6 weeks in the summer, and we're at the camper most of those 6 weeks. So I work out when I can, but enjoying my time with him and my husband is the top priority, and why I do what I do. And so I share a lot about that. When it comes to, like, I have an event created within our community for this Fall Back to Fitness, because then it invites everybody automatically. So that's 200 invites out. And then I'll make an effort, like I posted results right after. I posted an introduction of why I do what I do still. I posted an example of a recipe that they'll get, an example of the meal plans I have made. So just throwing content out there to make yourself look valuable and worth the $173 that it is right.
I love that. So you mentioned Facebook analytics, and Facebook analytics can be complicated. So maybe this is another topic for another day. But how do you use your Facebook analytics in these communities to tailor what you post or what you do? Just how do you use those Facebook analytics that Facebook is giving you?
I don't. I do and I don't. I literally just linked my like page 4 nights ago when I finally had some time to sit down and look at it all. It's nice to see how many it's actually reaching, but I don't tailor my content to that unless people completely aren't caring about what I've been posting. So I know my live cooking videos do better. I know that I need to ask about meal prep and goals on Sunday, just like I do with my challengers. Like I know you will be able to hopefully gauge your audience the best, better than Facebook, I would hope, in what they want and what they need to be successful. And so I would say just, yes, look at it and see, but I wouldn't put all your eggs in Facebook analytics.
That's such a good point. I was just talking to Jamie about this actually. Well, just your line of you probably know your audience better than Facebook does. And as intriguing as all the statistics are, and I've been really, a call that Camille and I were on actually about Instagram, I was so intrigued, like, oh my gosh, this is the algorithm, like we can beat it. It's really intriguing and it's exciting to learn about, but, you know, take things with a grain of salt, I guess is what I'm saying. But what I mentioned or what Jamie and I had talked about the other day, we were talking about frequency of posting. This is kind of unrelated, but talking about frequency of posting and advice that we had heard from a business mentor that we both love and admire and, you know, is a great person. And I was like, oh, well, so-and-so, it was actually Josh Coates, not that it matters who it is, but Josh Coates said to do this one thing, and she was talking about how she does something different, and I was like, oh, interesting, do you know that Josh Coates says to do this? And she's like, yeah, I do, and I tried it, and that didn't work for me. So, oh my gosh, you know, try different things. Just like this is probably a completely new idea that Camille is presenting to us that maybe you've never heard of, or you would have never thought of, or maybe you've heard something against it. I never have, but if anything is possible, try it. You know, you never know. With that said, these things take time, especially something like this that you build and grow. Camille's have grown fast, in my opinion. I would think. I don't have experience with it, but that seems like pretty quick growth to me, which is really cool. So give it time. Don't expect the exact same results that the next person got. And just be open to things, open to it going awesome, open to maybe it flopping and you having to not give up on whatever you've committed to do, and constantly tweaking and being better. And I don't really know where I'm going with that, but I do have a couple more questions. I guess we have a little bit of time. How do you get to know your people in these groups?
One thing with the Aldi group, since we've grown a lot recently just because of posts that have been out there locally, I started sending everybody a message. So I was doing 20 to 30 a day. I'm not done because I just started doing this last week. But thanking them for being there, telling them that I'm super excited about this community as the admin and that I want to make sure I'm giving them content that is valuable and useful and that they can reach out to me if they ever need to, and that I would love to learn more about them. And I would say I'm at about probably a 25% answer rate. of those messages I've sent so far. Most of them are moms, which is what I expected, but a lot of them are sharing what they do for a living, how many kids they have at home, why they love Aldi, what it has helped with their family. And so it really just helps get my mindset narrowed in of what they want to see. But it also, not a lot of people never been reached out to by an admin. And so that's why I wanted to be different. Did the same thing about at the beginning of the summer with positivity platform. That didn't get me very far. So now I just try and reach out to those people as I see big things happening on Facebook, or if they comment on stuff, if they say something that sparks more of a message versus publicly in the group. What's Cooking Mankato is got so big so fast that I really haven't reached out to everybody unless they've commented on something or filled out a form on my website. But that's a legit local business, and I'm the only one running it, so to reach out to 700 people is not feasible unless they have questions, in my opinion. At least not right now.
Yeah, that seems like a totally different beast, obviously, that we would approach. We wouldn't even be in that situation. You're so right about, I'm a part of like a ton of groups on Facebook. I've always entertained the idea of being vegan, well, not vegan, vegetarian since I was like a little squirt. I've never said that, a little squirt. But anyways, so I've been a part of like vegetarian groups forever. A bunch of different stuff, like local buy, sell, trade pages, all that stuff. Never been approached by an admin with something welcoming. I'm also a part of like a lot of military wife related things, and that's where I'm approached by people like the admins, but in like a very critical way, like, why are you requesting to be in this group? And not in a warm way. So I love just that whole idea of, hey, you're in this group, I want to know about you, not like, who the F are you and where do you live? Are you friends with everyone in, maybe not your What's Cooking Mankato group, but are you friends with everyone in your Aldi community?
When I first started my Aldi community, probably till we were at 150 people, I would request people every time. I would request to be their friend right after I accepted them. And then I realized that was a really, really bad idea because there's some really sketchy people out there in the world. And with Axton and just what Alan does for a job, I realized that wasn't a smart idea. So I stopped. Some of these ones that messaged me back that I know they're moms of kids, I know that they're actually engaged in the group, I will probably go back and friend request them in a couple weeks. But not as of right now anymore, just because it was getting to be a lot of people and kind of dicey when because like I know a lot of Beachbody coaches say stay in the female world or stay in the male world depending on where you are, or if you're a couple you kind of run everything together. And so, but I've never had that mindset. I said if somebody needs help, I'll help them. But guys, you definitely have to be a little bit more mindful. But females too. I've had a lot of crazies. Granted, I live in Mankato, and there are a lot of crazies and a lot of stupid college kids. So I've just, yes, at the beginning I did when I was learning so much about the business. But now that I am officially an adult and we are married and Alan has an iffy job, or not an iffy job, but he has some sketchy people that he's around every day, I decided to stop now that we have the same last name and stuff on Facebook.
True. So, like, I'm just intrigued now. You've ran into people that just, like, have ill intentions, or their pages make you uncomfortable, or what have you run into?
Lots of drugs.
Like, people trying to sell you drugs on Facebook?
Like, their posts, I would not want to be I would not want anybody to realize, oh, why does she have mutual friends with that person when they are doing lots of sketchy things in town.
True. That's a good point. I mean, above everything else, you have to use your judgment. And while we're all trying to build a business, we'd also like to live a life of dignity in and outside of Facebook. So good disclaimer. Just be mindful, like you said. Very good point. So unless anyone has any questions, I have one final question. As I'm super intrigued and I want to maybe I will. I was going to say I want to spend the rest of the night coming up with ideas, and I probably will. However, my last question is, should these communities replace your invites or other business building activities?
Nope, because that's where I'm shot myself in the foot. And why?
Okay, because you did invest everything into these communities at first?
Yes, I did. And like I said, I'm not one that loves inviting. I absolutely hate it, actually. I would much rather build a relationship and not be in your face that I'm the person that wants to help you, but genuinely show you I don't live a perfect life. This is what I do, and you can do it too. So the challenge packs I have sold in the last 4 months have been very successful in my groups because most of them have come to me or I'd been working with them for 6 to 12 weeks on different things, or they've been in and out of my free groups for the last 2 years. So that has been awesome because my sales have been good sales. But I've also made a lot less money and not hit Success Club near as much as I did my first 2 years in the business. So you have to I'm learning, and Jamie and I are working with each other a lot more now, but I'm learning that I need to find that balance again, and I need to figure out what it is for me because I love my communities and I want them to convert, but I don't think you can necessarily just ignore messaging or the vital behaviors anymore either.
Good point. And as we both kind of mentioned before that, Camille just said she has to find out her balance because her balance is far different than my balance. That's different than Ashley's balance. That's different than everyone's balance. And the thing too that it comes up with just about every coach who's working the business, that your balance will change. As Camille just said, her life just changed for the 6 weeks. They had her stepson. Her life looked completely different, so her balance was way different, whether your priorities are different or your obligations, everything else. Even the last 2 weeks for me, I've been off school. It was my summer break for 2 weeks. Everything in my life looked different than it's going to look starting tomorrow when I go back to school. And then it's going to look different when Ryan comes back from overseas, and it's going to look different again once Christmas and blah, 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 So our lives are always evolving. With that said, they'll never slow down, so don't wait for your life to slow down. But everyone's balance is different, and your balance, everyone in life, outside of Beachbody, people who have nothing to do with Beachbody, they're trying to find their balance too, and we're all probably going to be searching for our balance for the rest of our lives because it's constantly changing. So just keep that in mind, and also know, like Camille said, yeah, she made mistakes at first or whatever, or did things differently than she is now. Of course. So if you make a community and it's crickets or something different happens than your expectation to it, yes, that's going to happen with anything in our business. So know that going into it. Just be open, I guess, is the whole theme of this call. I also love the idea. I wanted to point it out again that Camille said about having themes to any group so you can really hone in on what you're posting. That was such a good point because that's what my challenge groups, I would say in the past, but they still are like that, where I'm just posting about everything, which is great, but it also is like throwing spaghetti at the wall, like Camille said. So think about that too with any group that you would hold. So I think that's all my questions for now. If you guys dive into this idea or you have more questions about communities or free groups, I'm guessing that Camille is open to questions. She's always so helpful with anything. And yeah, anyways, awesome call. Thank you for this new idea and good content. I think we can wrap it up, but just know, like I said, that I would like to say, I think I can say that Camille is open to questions beyond here, so don't hesitate to reach out to her or reach out to anyone that you see as a mentor or a peer or anything in the business. Everyone that I know is here to help. So take advantage of that because we have so much to learn from everybody else. If Camille didn't talk about this, I never would have known about this idea, and who knows what it could do for your business or at least your heart, you know? I think that's really where this comes from the most, because obviously other than her What's Cooking Mankato group, these aren't just like money making generators, like the holy grail of how to make money. Like, no, she's really not making a lot of money from these groups, but it makes her feel genuine, it makes her feel helpful, and gives her more purpose. And like I said, just I'm guessing it makes her heart feel good. So I'm all about that. Yeah, well, have a good rest of your Sunday night, guys. Sorry if you hear my dogs chewing on their bones, but it worked. So anyways, have a good rest of your night, guys.